All right, let's just jump right in. Imagine for a second that everything you've ever been told about sleep is completely wrong. Today, we're taking a sledgehammer to one of the biggest health myths out there.
You know the number, 8. It's the magic number that looms over us, right? It makes you feel guilty if you get less, and maybe a little lazy if you get more. But what if I told you that number is basically made up?
Because believe it or not, a totally accidental scientific discovery has come along that's about to rewrite the entire rulebook on what it means to get a good night's rest.
Okay, so where did we even get this 8-hour rule from? For decades, it's been treated like the absolute law of the land. It's the gold standard we're all supposed to aim for, no questions asked.
I mean, look at this. This is the official chart from the National Sleep Foundation. See that nice, neat blue zone? That's supposedly where every single adult should be. If you're outside of it, something's wrong with you. It's the perfect way to give everyone a collective anxiety disorder about sleep. But here's the question that changes everything. What if some of us are just wired differently? What if for certain people, 5 or 6 hours isn't a bug, it's a feature, a biological upgrade? And that, my friends, is where our story really gets interesting. It involves a huge scientific breakthrough, a lucky break, and a pair of twins who turned our understanding of sleep completely upside down. So get this. Researchers basically stumbled into the perfect natural experiment, a pair of non-identical twins. So they're genetically different, but they grew up in the exact same environment. It was like the universe handed them the perfect opportunity to figure out what's nature and what's nurture when it comes to sleep. Now, you've got to see this data. The twin with a particular gene variant, they naturally slept for about 5 hours a night. That's a full hour less than their sibling. But here's the part that will absolutely blow your mind. After being kept awake for 38 hours, the short sleeper made way fewer mistakes on a test. Let that sink in. Less sleep, better performance. What in the world is going on?
Well, the answer, it turns out, is hiding in our DNA. It all comes down to a single gene with a very, very complicated name. It's called BHLHE41. Yeah, it's a mouthful. But you can think of this gene as one of the main gears inside your body's internal clock, the one that tells you when to be sleepy and when to be awake. And the version this one twin had, it was like a high-performance upgrade. Here's the best way to think about it. Most of us are using a standard phone charger for our brains. It takes a full 8 hours to get to 100%. But people with this gene have a supercharger. They plug in and they're fully juiced up and ready to go in just 5 or 6 hours. They're not getting less sleep, they're just getting it done way more efficiently. And this is the absolute key to the whole thing. The study found that even though their total sleep time was different, the amount of deep, restorative NREM sleep, the really good stuff that actually fixes your body and brain, was pretty much identical. The short sleeper wasn't skipping the important part, their brain was just getting the job done faster.
So let's be super clear here. This isn't just about someone who's good at pulling all-nighters. This is a genuine biological advantage. We're basically talking about a human superpower. So just how big of an advantage are we talking about? Well, this next number is pretty staggering. 41%. After being awake for almost 2 entire days, the twin with the gene made 41% fewer errors than their sibling. They weren't just a little sharper. They were massively more resistant to being sleep-deprived. It's an incredible difference. So, if you're keeping score at home, this one tiny genetic tweak gives you a whole suite of powers. You naturally need less sleep, you still get all the high-quality deep sleep you need, and your brain basically becomes bulletproof when you have to stay awake. Okay, I know what you're thinking. That's a really cool story for that one person, but what does it have to do with me? I definitely don't have that superpower. Well, this is where it gets relevant for all of us. Here's the plot twist. The researchers realized that this specific part of our DNA is what they call a hotspot for mutations. That means this isn't some 1 in a billion fluke. It's actually pretty likely that there are lots of other people out there with their own unique versions of this gene that also make them natural-born short sleepers. And that leads us to the biggest lesson here. We've all been obsessed with the wrong thing. We've been counting the quantity of hours we spend in bed, when what really truly matters is the quality and the efficiency of that sleep. And for some people, their bodies are just built for maximum efficiency. And this idea has real-world consequences. For those of us without the superpower gene, a new study found something really interesting. For teenagers who are naturally night owls but have to get up crazy early for school, sleeping in on the weekends actually offers meaningful protection against depression. So that idea that you can't catch up on sleep, it might not be entirely true. Our bodies clearly have some flexibility. So sleeping in on a Saturday isn't just you being lazy. It can actually be a valid strategy to help pay back the sleep debt from a brutal week. So let's just put it all together. The hunt for a universal 8-hour rule has been a wild goose chase. The real goal was never to hit some arbitrary number. The goal is to find your hours, the amount of high-quality sleep that your unique body needs to feel fantastic. For you, that might be 9 hours. For your friend, it might be 6, and both are totally fine. So yeah, the 8-hour rule is dead. The future of sleep is personal, it's genetic, and frankly, it's way more interesting. If this changed the way you think about hitting the snooze button, let us know in the comments what other myth should we bust next.